Welcome to the Only Overs football show. We finally got some NFL. Last night we had the first game, Bills Rams. We did really well on that. I had a shit ton of bets. I went 5-2. Was up like over 3 units. Vance did well in real life. In the show, he only made 2 bets and he went 1-1. So even there. But now we got a ton of games to look at. Whole slate of Sunday and one Monday game. So we're just going to start and go down the line. First game, Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh. That's one that I'm personally not betting. There's not a whole lot of games that I'm not betting, but that's one of them. The history between those teams, I don't really know what to expect out of either of those teams, honestly. Cincinnati's a minus 270. They're favored by 6.5, which isn't bad. The team that made the Super Bowl last year. Against a Pittsburgh team that has a lot of question marks around it, especially at quarterback. To me, this is just one of the games I don't like because, Pittsburgh, as many question marks as there are around the quarterback position, they could have upgraded from last year. It's still a team that made the playoffs. They have a healthy defense now. They still have all those weapons and just had a George Pickens. This is a game that, if you're just trying to pick some underdogs, the Steelers probably are a pretty good underdog at plus 220, but this is one I'm not touching.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is what you're going to get from Pittsburgh at QB. Obviously, Cincinnati was hot on offense last year. I mean, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. I mean, they're stacked, right? But Pittsburgh's got a solid defense. They've got one of the best edge rushers in T.J. Watt. And if Trubisky can play efficient on offense, they do have Najee Harris and Pickens and Deontay Johnson. So they and Pat Freeman. They've got
Claypool
weapons.
too.
Yeah, and Claypool.
They got a lot. They got a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, if Trubisky can play efficiently, the only bet I'd look at in this game would be a Pittsburgh cover. Because division matchups, I mean, are always close. The coaches know each other. They know their systems. They play each other twice every year. It's always a dogfight. This isn't college football where you see a crazy amount of mistakes. I mean, sometimes you do. But usually, like, the bad teams can compete with the really good teams. It's not like you got Bama running around beating everyone by 60. So I think it could be a close game. But if Trubisky isn't efficient, Cincinnati could dominate him. So yeah. That's why I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah, so from us, no bet there. Next game is one that I do like. Eagles versus Lions. I got the Eagles at minus 3.5. Now they're at minus 4.5. I would look into betting this because I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up another. The Eagles are one of those teams. Oh, they're minus 2. They're a minus 205 favorite. Spread minus 4.5. Lions are a plus 172 underdog. Eagles are one of those teams that I have high expectations for personally. I know a lot of other people do too. They have a pretty good defense, but they're pretty loaded on offense, and it's a tricky offense to handle. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be better than he has been. I think he's going to use his legs really well. I do think he's a good passer. He was a fine passer in college. Now they added A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith's in his second year. Dallas Goedert is good. They don't have any great running backs, but they got a pretty solid committee there with Miles Sanders and Gainwell and Boston Scott. So I think they're going to be tough to handle all around. The Lions did get a lot better, at least in terms of their roster, I feel like, and they should be healthier now. I don't hate Jared Goff. I don't think he's that bad, but he's not great. But he does have some weapons. Swift's back and healthy. Jamal Williams. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown going into year 2. They will have Jameson Williams, but they don't have him yet. They got DJ Chark back. Maybe eventually Hawkinson can turn out to be what he was supposed to, but I just think the Eagles are going to be too much. I think they're probably going to be better coached as much as I like Dan Campbell. We'll see how good of a coach he is. I think Hurts has a big game. I think we see A.J. Brown prove that he still is one of the best receivers in the league. And I think the Eagles cover minus 4.5. I like that bet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the Philly hype train. They're supposed to have one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL this year. Some people have them as like a shocker out of the NFC. Like, just come in, they're gonna go to the playoffs and be this team go on a run. And I mean, You look at some of these guys going into their next year, like Hurts isn't done growing,
Bad,
so
bad,
like,
bad Colts news just came up. Darius Leonard will not be playing week 1.
oh, that's not anything crazy. We play Houston. Hopefully it works
Hey.
out.
Well, watch yourself there.
Yeah, but Hurts getting more experience, getting more time to grow with the team, and then Smith going into his second year. A lot of these dudes, when they have productive and good first years, they take giant leaps in their second year. Like, it's not uncommon. So I think they've got plenty of weapons, and I'm on their offensive hype train until they let me down. So yeah, I will definitely be taking Eagles
Yep.
-4.5. I got them at -3.5, so I don't got to worry about the 4.5. But
I did as well. I'm way more confident with -3.5, but I still like -4.5.
yeah,
Next is Colts versus Texans. This is one that I think a lot of people would have the Colts as a lock. I think if I didn't live in Indianapolis and know so much about the Colts, I would also have it as a lock. This is actually a game I'm probably not going to bet unless this line goes down to 6.5. Right now, Colts are -7.5. They're a -335 favorite. The Texans are a +270 underdog. The Colts should be way better than the Texans. They are way better than the Texans. If it wasn't week 1, I would say hammer this line. The Colts haven't won a week 1 game in like 8 or 9 years. I don't know what it is. And I know I've told people that before, and they're like, but it's the Texans. 2 years ago, they lost to the Jags, and then the Jags didn't win another game. So, I think the Colts will win this game. I don't find enough value in it at -335. So if the line goes down to 6.5, I'll probably take it. But at 7.5, I think this is actually going to be a competitive game and probably have all Colts fans' hearts racing as Matt Ryan is trying to win the game on a 2-minute drive.
which is why you don't see Indianapolis -7 on the spreadsheet. You see Indianapolis money line. It really just comes down to experience on offense. I think the Colts have better playmakers on offense than Houston. I think they're a better all-around team, which they should be.
They're better at probably every single position on the field.
But Davis, you don't know what you're gonna get out of him. I mean, Matt Ryan's a more accurate passer. I know he's not bad. He wasn't bad last year, but I mean, that could have been a fluke. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But
yeah, you don't know what you're gonna get at Matt Ryan either. Honestly, you don't. He's very inconsistent, and he's on a new team.
I'm gonna trust JT.
Yeah,
is gonna handle business, and the Colts should do fine.
I do think the Leonard thing is big though. Like Darius Leonard does more than
everything.
Anybody else on that team, I would say, besides maybe JT.
He does everything.
Yeah. So I mean, Colts should win the game. I don't care for the money line though. I'm not betting this game. Vance is taking Colts money line. Next game, Saints -Falcons. This is one of my favorites. Saints -5.5. That's what I'm betting. They're -240 favorite, and Falcons are a +198 underdog. I like the Saints at -5.5 a lot. I think the Saints are going to be a good team, and I think the Falcons have potential to be the worst team in the NFL. Jameis Winston was actually playing really well last year before he got hurt, and he had no weapons. His number one was Marquise Callaway. Now he's coming in throwing to Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, and they still got Alvin Kamara. That defense is going to be one of the best in the NFL. The Falcons...
And a honey badger.
Yeah. And, I mean, they still got guys like Lattimore, and they have a great pass rush as well. The Falcons, on the other hand, they have some good players. They have a decent young core. But, I think Marcus Mariota, he could be okay. I don't think he's going to do very well against the Saints defense, though. Obviously, no Calvin Ridley, so he's going to be thrown to Kyle Pitts, which Kyle Pitts is good, but the Saints defense is just so stacked. No, I don't see... I think this -5.5 is easy money for the Saints. I know the NFL, it's kind of hard to say that, but it's if there's going to be, there's 3 games that I think are probably going to be blowouts, and this is one of them, and you got it at -5.5. I like that a lot.
I'm taking the safer route. I'm going money line. I don't know why. I don't know exactly why. For some reason, I feel like Marcus Mariota's going to do some weird shit.
He could.
And the Saints aren't going to live up to the hype. or the Falcons aren't going to be as bad as everyone thinks. I think they're going to be bad.
I don't think the Saints are getting that much hype, though.
But Jameis Winston's shaky. He's a very inconsistent guy.
He is.
He could come out and throw 4 picks out of nowhere.
That's true.
But I mean, I'm just going to take the easy route. I'm going to take the money line.
Mm-hmm. So I got Saints minus 5.5. Vance has Saints money line at minus 240. Next game is another one of the games that I think is like should be easy money. Ravens against the Jets. Ravens their spread right now is minus 6.5. It's kind of been all over the place. I like it at minus 6.5 a lot. I think they should win by at least 2 scores. They're minus 310 favorite. The Jets are plus 250. I think Baltimore is also going to be one of the better teams in the AFC. They weren't even bad last year when they had nobody. Like, their whole defense got hurt. Both their starting corners were out. Lamar Jackson got hurt. J.K. Dobbins was out. Like, they didn't really have anything. Marquise Brown was dropping every touchdown. Like,
yep.
They didn't have much, and they still were a good team. This is the team I would pick to win the AFC North. I think they're better than the Bengals and the Steelers. They're probably favorited, to be honest. The Jets, I like what they did in the draft a lot, but they're still a bad team. Joe Flacco is also playing, that actually might be better for the Jets, to be honest. I think Zach Wilson sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
Elijah Moore said that, or maybe it was Garrett Wilson, said that Joe Flacco throws a more receiver-friendly ball than Zach Wilson, which I think just means like he throws a better ball, right? But
he probably just throws it to them
yeah.
and not away from them.
Yeah. They did add Sauce Gardner, who I think is going to be really good, but I don't think he's going to be that relevant in this game, considering
they don't throw.
They don't throw to receivers, at least, right?
No. I mean, Lamar doesn't throw to Mark Andrews either, so it's really...
Quinnen Williams.
It's just a running game, and they got Dobbins back.
Maybe. So. Dobbins, I don't know if Dobbins is going to play. If he does, I don't think he's going to do much, but I trust in Lamar and the defense. Like, Joe Flacco might
The Jets just don't have enough. They don't have enough to compete.
Yeah.
I mean, Baltimore, like you said, AFC North favorite, in my opinion as well. The Jets just don't have... I mean, they're too young. The guys that are too young aren't proven. And Joe Flacco is not good.
Yeah.
Not going to carry him to this dub. 6.5, easy.
Yeah, I agree. Next game, Patriots versus Dolphins. My dog is having a dream and twitching all over the place. Hey, homie.
I think New England's gonna be bad this year. I don't think Mac Jones is very good. I don't think their offense has many weapons. I don't think their defense is gonna be very good. And Miami has a lot going for them. They loaded up on offense this year. I think they're talented at every position. The only one that's really got to show it is their quarterback. But I mean, that is the biggest position on offense. But I think he's got plenty of weapons for them to be able to handle New England.
Yeah. The line, I think I got this at minus 2.5 for the Dolphins. Is at minus 3.5 now, which sucks, but I'm still taking Dolphins spread.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots are gonna be one of the worst teams in the league.
Yep.
I think the Dolphins are gonna be good. I kind of always like the Dolphins. I think Tua is gonna have a pretty good season. He has too many weapons not to. Say what you want about Tua. He's not awful, and he's got a lot of talent around him. He's got a really good coach that's gonna make that offense fun. And I like Miami's defense too. Miami has had a pretty solid defense the last couple of years. Patriots, just from their roster for one's terrible, but everyone believes in Belichick. From the stuff I heard about the joint practices with the Raiders, and in the preseason game, they had their whole starting lineup out against the Raiders' whole second team, and they got their ass beat. Like I don't think the Patriots are going to be very good. I think Mac Jones is really going to struggle this game. I don't know if the Dolphins are going to score a lot, but I definitely don't think the Patriots are going to score much at all. So I'm going Dolphins.
I can see a sophomore slump from Mac Jones, and I don't think he had an insane rookie season.
He didn't do much.
That roster it's just not good enough.
Yeah, so we're both going Dolphins minus 3.5 there. Next game, this line has changed. This line's changed a lot in the last day.
All over the place.
Yeah. Browns versus Panthers. The Browns are now a favorite. It's basically a pick 'em. I mean, it is. They're a favorite. They're minus 112. Their spread is minus 1.5. The Panthers are a minus 104, but their spread's plus 1.5. So basically a pick 'em, but I think the Panthers are going to win. I got the Panthers. I mean, I got them as a freaking favorite when I bet them. I don't know what happened to make this change. Like, obviously, yeah, the Browns probably have a better roster. But one, I think Baker's going to beat the shit out of them. I think Baker's going to have a little bit of a comeback season, at least this game.
I think he's looking for blood.
A healthy CMC as well.
Yeah.
Like, the Panthers are going to be solid on offense.
DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, they got weapons. And then on the Browns, like, they have a good defense. But that offense is just not doing it for me. They're like, yeah, they have Chubb and Kareem Hunt, but they got Jacoby, so obviously
he can't throw further than 5 yards, which is I watched Jacoby play for the Colts, and he's just not like he can't. If you get him in a position where he has to throw the ball long, like you get him in like a 3rd and 10, he's not good.
Yeah.
Like all the Colts could do with him was throw screen passes or little 2-yard routes. He's not efficient down the field. He's not going to move the ball with ease like you'd see a lot of like the good quarterbacks do. And I mean, if you light a fire under Baker, I mean, he goes off. I mean, he did it in college. He got shit talked by a team. Next thing you know, he's out there waving his flag, grabbing his junk in front of people. I mean, like if you give him a chip on his shoulder, he comes out and he balls out. And I think the change of scenery, him getting ran out of Cleveland and playing his old team, I think he's got that chip on his shoulder, and I think he could come out and be deadly.
Yep.
And they don't have to rely on him. He's got a guy that he can just literally hand the ball off to or throw it to him, who can put up wide receiver 1 and RB1 numbers by himself.
Yeah.
He's like, if you took Cooper Kupp and threw him with Jonathan Taylor and made a player, like, that's what you get. Like, it's a scary dude to have.
Yeah.
Scary weapon.
And the Browns just don't have that many pass-catching weapons to make a huge difference in Jacoby's game. Like, Amari Cooper's still good, but he's old, and, I mean, is David Bell even playing? He's hurt. So.
Well, the thing about Jacoby can take good pass catchers and eliminate their threat just by being on the field. Like, this is a guy that ran a run-the-damn-ball hat as a quarterback. His whole job is to throw the ball. And he wore a hat, like, saying, hey, let's run the ball. Like, that's not a guy that you want to be like, yeah, I want to put my money on him. I think Amari Cooper is a good wide receiver. I think he is a lot less scary when you put Jacoby Brissett behind center.
Yeah, and I'm also going to bet Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown here. It's at -125. I think it's a lock. So,
yeah,
going to bet that too. Next game is one that I'm not betting. I'm going to look at a touchdown prop here and might bet it, but 49ers versus Bears, 2 quarterbacks that you don't know what you're going to get out of at all. I think the Bears are really bad. I think the 49ers could be good, but I don't know. The 49ers are -310 money line, -6.5 favorite. The Bears at +250. I don't hate San Francisco -6.5, but Chicago's defense could be okay. Trey Lance could be bad. I think I'm staying away from this game.
I just think the 49ers have a better overall roster, but it's like you said, it's whatever QB shows up.
Yeah. Whoever
decides to have a good year this year. But I mean, you never know. So Trey Lance could be a dud, and it's got mixed reports coming out of camp that he's inconsistent. Like, you don't know what you're getting with him. So he could come out and ball out. He could come out and be a dud. And then Fields could be a beast. You never know. I mean, he's got talent. Will it translate to the NFL? It's still a big question mark. They got a new offense. I mean, they might have what they need to be good, but San Fran's got the better overall roster. It's way too much unknown for it to be like a bet that I want to take.
Yeah, not worth it to me. I was looking at touchdown scores. I kind of like Trey Lance to run one at +210. I think that I'm probably going to bet that. I think Trey Lance is going to run a touchdown in. So Trey Lance touchdown at +210, I guess, is my bet for that game. But I'm not going to bet anything else. Next game, Jacksonville versus the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are -142. They're a -2.5 favorite. Jacksonville at +120. I'm actually going to bet Jacksonville money line in this game. I put like $50 on that already. I think Jacksonville's actually going to be an okay team this year. And I think Washington's going to be really bad. I think Carson Wentz sucks. I don't think they're going to have much of a running game. I don't really care for the coaching there. They have defensive players that people think their defense is going to be good, it seems, every year, and they're just not. Jacksonville, on the other hand, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to take a pretty big step with Doug Peterson. I think Doug Peterson's a really good coach, especially for offenses. So I think Trevor Lawrence is going to take a big step, and he doesn't have any like crazy good weapons there, but he has a ton of weapons that he can go to. Obviously, Travis Etienne's healthy. James Robinson's playing. And then I like Zay Jones a lot as a Raiders fan. Zay Jones came in huge for the Raiders at the end of the year. I think they're going to connect a lot. Trevor Lawrence and Marvin Jones started connecting a lot at the end of last year. And they just gave Christian Kirk a huge contract. So it's not like he doesn't have guys to throw to. He doesn't have a star, but he's got a lot of weapons to go to. I think that offense is actually going to be pretty decent. And we've seen what Carson Wentz does against the Jags. So I'm going to go Jags money line there. I think they're actually going to be like a pretty okay team. Like I think they could win like 6 games this year.
Yeah, I don't have a bet for this one. I don't believe in either team.
That's fair.
I don't think Trevor Lawrence has shown anything that's been like, wow, this guy's going to get it done. I don't think Jacksonville's ever shown anything that's like, wow, this team is going to come out good. Washington, I mean, they hung in some games with bad quarterbacks, so I think they've got better playmakers, but I also don't know what Etienne's going to do. So I don't know. I don't like anything about that game. I'm not going near it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all. Yeah.
So I'm going Jags money line. Vance is going nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
So next one, Raiders versus Chargers. I think this is the toughest game to predict of the week for me. Their game at the end of the season last year was crazy. Both teams have gotten a lot better, it seems. Chargers are a minus 176 favorite, minus 3.5 on the spread. Raiders are a plus 148. This is one that I'm not betting on a winner or a spread. I'm actually going to take the over at 52.5. Both these offenses just have so much firepower. I can't imagine that we don't see a lot of points on the board. The Chargers defense is good, but without J.C. Jackson, like the only issue for the over here is going to be the Chargers pass rush versus the Raiders' really bad offensive line. But I think with all the weapons that the Raiders have, with Devontae Adams going against not J.C. Jackson, because J.C. Jackson's probably not playing, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, I think that's going to be too much firepower for the Chargers to completely stop on defense. And I know that the Raiders are not going to stop the Chargers the Chargers offense is going to put up points for sure. The Raiders, they did add Chandler Jones. Max Crosby is really good, so they have a good pass rush. But outside of that, on the DB side, I think Justin Herbert probably will tear him up, and if he doesn't, Austin Eckler usually does pretty good damage to the Raiders. So I think it's going to be a shootout. I think whoever gets ball last is probably going to win. So I'm going to go with the over 52.5. I could see this being like 35-28 game. So I could see this going well over the over 52.5.
Yeah, I like the over. It's just two explosive offenses. I mean, there's just so many weapons offensively in this game. I mean, there was a bunch of offensive weapons last game on Thursday. But, I mean, there was also some solid defenses. So, I don't know. I think this is going to be the toughest division to pick when they go against each other. But, yeah, I like the over. There's just too many offensive weapons to not think there's going to be some touchdowns.
Yeah. And I'm also going to bet a Josh Jacobs touchdown here at plus 120. He usually plays really good against the Chargers, and I saw he's the only running back in the league the last 3 years to have multiple touchdowns in the first game of the season. He always goes off first game of the season, probably because it's like the only time he's healthy. So I'm going to go Josh Jacobs touchdown at plus 120 as well on that. Next game, we got Giants versus Titans. This is another one I really like. Titans minus 5.5. I'm betting that. Titans minus 240 money line. Giants are plus 198. I'm not high on the Titans at all, not by any means, but I really think the Giants are going to be very bad, especially from stuff I saw from like videos at camp and just people talking that were at camp. Like Daniel Jones, I guess, is not only not getting better, he seems significantly worse. Like they got guys like Kenny Galladay who like basically aren't even trying out there. So like I feel bad for Saquon. I think Saquon's going to be good for fantasy, but I don't think he's going to provide much outside of some short catches. Titans, it's kind of the same old Titans. They got a little bit worse. They lost A.J. Brown, but like run Derrick Henry, pick off Daniel Jones. -5.5 seems easy to me.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the Titans, so I just took the money line. I agree. I don't think the Giants will be a very good team, but I also don't think the Titans will be
Yeah.
an incredibly good team. So I'm just taking the money line.
Yeah, I feel that. So we both got Titans. I got the spread. He's got the money line. Next game is one that I'm not betting. I'm actually not betting. I don't think I'm betting the next 3 games. Chiefs versus Cardinals. Chiefs are -255, -5.5 spread. Cardinals are +210. The biggest thing is obviously Chiefs without Tyreek, Cardinals without D-Hop. They add Marquise Brown. The Chiefs add a lot of weapons. Nobody nearly as good as Tyreek, but he has a lot of weapons still. I still do think the Chiefs are going to be good, really good. They would probably be my pick to win the West still. But last year they did start off really slow. I feel like there's more of an adjustment period now than they should have had last year. They're the better team than the Cardinals. But there's just a lot of question marks around this, like Kyler being weird with his contract and stuff before season. I don't really want to touch either of these teams at all, to be honest.
Yeah, this is one of the games I kind of like the underdog. It's not anything I'm gonna go make like a solid, solidified pick, but this and then the next 2 games we're talking about are all underdogs. I would consider.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much unknown. I think Kansas City is not gonna come out as efficiently on offense as they'd like. I think Tyreek Hill is a bigger shot to their offense than they're gonna realize, and it's just gonna depend on how well Juju integrates into that offense. I mean, if he comes in and he can be a wide receiver 1 for him and be a good weapon, then their offense is gonna be fine. But I mean, if they lose that, then all the focus goes straight to Kelsey.
Yeah.
And you don't have a deep threat that you could be like, oh, if they're gonna focus on Kelsey, I'll just chuck it Tyreek. It's gonna be a one threat receiving core, which could be very bad for them. Yeah. But I mean, they both have playmaking quarterbacks that can run around behind the line of scrimmage all day and find guys to get open. Yeah. I think Hollywood will do enough for Arizona though for them to get by and still be a pretty good offense because they do have Rondell Moore and Hollywood and Ertz,
James
and then
Conner too.
Connor was solid last year, so I mean, I think they've got enough weapons to give Kansas City a run for their money. And Kansas City also lost the Honey Badger. I mean,
yeah. And so this was like one of my favorite bets I made last year. I know I'm doing like a bunch of touchdown score bets all of a sudden, but Kyler Murray to run a touchdown +195. I bet that like every week last year, and it hit like every time. So I'm gonna do that again. Kyler Murray rushing touchdown at +195.
Yeah, I'm not doing any props until closer to Sunday.
Yeah, next game, like I said, next few I'm not betting. Packers, Vikings. It's kind of the same thing. Like Packers have a lot of questions. They lost Devontae Adams. Aaron Rodgers is he in? Is he out? What are we doing here? Vikings are always a team to me that should be good, and they end up not being as good as I would expect. This is a pick 'em pretty much. Packers -116, Vikings -102. Packers just got the slight -1.5 favorite. Division game. Packers first game last year they were really bad, and then after that they were great. No Devontae Adams, I think, is the biggest change of scenery in the NFL. Like I think Devontae Adams leaving the Packers is more of a big deal than Tyreek Hill leaving the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers for the last 2-3 years only threw the ball to Devontae Adams every single fucking play, it seemed. Like, that's all they did. So, we'll see how that goes. I mean, the Vikings are stacked. They have Justin Jefferson. They have Adam Thielen. They have Dalvin Cook. Like, Kirk Cousins isn't bad. They have good defensive players. This is just too weird of a game for me to want to pick, especially at the odds. Like, if I was getting Vikings at, like, +180, +220, I'd probably do it. But they're -102, so I'm not touching it.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins, regardless of what anyone wants to say, very efficient passer, and he's been doing it with the defensive coach. The defensive coach is gone, and I think the Vikings had a lot more go for him this offseason, and the Packers lost a lot this offseason. I think Devontae Adams, like you said, huge loss, but Kirk Cousins just went from a defensive coach to an offensive coach, and I think that's only going to make him better. And he threw 33 touchdowns, only 7 picks last year, so it's not like he's not bad. Like he's very efficient. Like.
And it's not in prime time.
33 touchdowns. That's not easy. It's not like a bunch of quarterbacks were doing it. So if I chose anyone in this game, I would lean Vikings. I mean, they've got a crazy amount of weapons. I think Thielen is gonna have a good year. Jefferson is a monster, and then Cook. I mean, those three are solid. And then Irv Smith healthy this year.
Yeah.
He should be pretty good too. So if I had to pick, which I'm not betting on this one, but if I had to pick, it would be Minnesota.
Next one, last one I'm not betting. Bucks versus Cowboys. Bucks are -2.5. They're a -136 favorite. Cowboys are a +116 underdog. This one, I think if I bet, I would probably do Cowboys money line, but I don't think I'm going to bet. And you got a pretty similar Bucks team to what you've had the last couple of years. I don't know if I think Godwin is playing, but he's not healthy at all. Probably shouldn't be playing, to be honest. Julio, though, got added. He might actually be okay for a couple weeks before he gets hurt. And then, obviously, you still got Tom. You still got Mike Evans. You still got a good defense. You get a line, Leonard Fournette, all that stuff. And then the Cowboys, they lost Amari Cooper, which it's a decent hit, but nothing crazy. I mean, I think CD Lamb will step up and do well. Gallup, I think, is playing, but it's kind of the same stuff. Like, probably not going to do much, not going to play much. And then you got Zeke and Tony Pollard still. They did take a big hit to their offensive line, losing Tyron Smith. The Bucks definitely have the better team, but I don't know. This is just one of those games. It's like, I thought, did they play like Sunday night last year, week 1 or 2 years ago, and it was a crazy game? I think like,
yeah,
yes. I don't know. I'm not gonna touch it.
It was a 2-point game.
I'm probably not touching it.
2 point. It was 29-31. It was a big game. They played the opener, the Thursday night, September. Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys have talent. I mean, they're right there. They're 12-5 last year. Tampa was, I think they won 13. I think they were like right neck and neck with each other on wins. Yeah, Tampa was 13-4. I think Dallas has a talented offense. You never know when Tom Brady's gonna fall off, and he might never fall off. He might just retire, being a monster. But this is a game where I think Dallas is the underdog. So, I mean, if I had to choose a team in these close games that you don't know, I'd just take the underdog. I mean,
yeah,
it's just something to tease. I mean, it's nice little throw a couple underdogs on a parlay, see what happens.
Yeah,
but
the
I mean, this game could go either way.
The Bucks tend to get better as the year goes on. It's like, maybe have a bad early game. Tom wasn't around the whole time for camp, which shouldn't matter, but you never know. Last game, one that I love. We got Denver versus Seattle. Denver -6.5 is the bet I'm taking. I think this is going to be a bloodbath. -270. Seahawks are +220. Russell Wilson, early in the season, and is always like the best quarterback in the league, like the first 4 weeks. He's going back to Seattle with a much better team than Seattle. I think Denver's better than them at like every position almost. Russell Wilson versus Geno Smith shouldn't be close. Seattle's defense isn't great. Denver has Cortland Sutton and Judy and those guys. So say what you want about them. They're decent players, and Russell Wilson should take them to the next level, along with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. To me, this 6.5 line is like, I don't know. I think Denver could beat them by like 20-something, honestly. This game really shouldn't be close at all, right?
Yeah, I don't see anything on Seattle's offense that's like, wow, they're going to put up points.
Yeah, Denver's defense should be great.
I think Denver's better than them all around.
Yeah.
And Russ, like you said, is a beast early. And I think I think they've got Seattle beat at everything besides maybe wide receiver. I mean, DK and Lockett are pretty damn good. So I think that's the only thing, but they don't have a quarterback to throw to them, so.
Yeah, and I'm also going to bet a Javonte
like
Williams touchdown. Javonte Williams at +110. I think that's a lock for a score. So, I don't know. You got anything else for any of this?
No. Should be an interesting week 1. I'm excited.
Yeah, dude, I cannot wait. 2 days.
We can tweet some of my slips, my bet slips, and my props when I go through and actually look at props.
Yeah, so we'll have this will probably come out tomorrow night. I would say Saturday night, probably.
Yep.
If you're seeing, well, I guess it wouldn't matter if you see this because our college football one just got done, so screw that. But yeah, man, NFL season, best time of the year. Hopefully we can make some money. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.